G'day guys, welcome back to the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. It is season 5, episode 19. What are we calling this, my brothers? Carnage round, the round from hell, absolute chaos. I tell you what, it's sorting us out, isn't it? We have a number of major injuries on our hands. There's only 3 of us here at the moment. Rossco is a very, very busy lad, but I do have my other brothers, Janath and Spillsy. Janath, you're sort of on top of me at the moment, brother. How are things at the moment, mate? Not necessarily Supercoach wise, but life wise, footy wise in general.
Yeah, good, mate. Like, the Blues can't get it done, but we'll give you on the Chockies this time. I feel like it's just one of those kind of years with the Blues. Yeah, but look, I just want to give a very quick shout out. I know this is going to be a very random story, but as you guys are probably aware, I'm a medical student, so I'm first year medical school. We get GP placements sort of every couple of weeks. And I just want to give a shout out. I'm not, obviously for confidentiality reasons, won't say any names here, but you know who you are. A man, so I want GP placement. I go to the weight room. I'm like, hey, X, Y, and Z, sort of come on in, sort of thing. Let's have a chat. So it's like I'm like a consultant. I take their patient history before the GP comes and sees them. And I'm like, I introduce myself. Hey, I'm Janath, first year medical student from the University of Melbourne. Thank you for agreeing to see me. And this bloke, so it was just such an endearing moment. It's like, Janath, Supercoach Swordplay. I watch your videos every week.
There we go.
We had a good chat for 2 minutes about Supercoach, talk captains, talk about what Carnage we're facing, and ranked in the top 2K, top 2 or 4K as well. So not too bad at all, mate. So you know who you are. Also told me to give regards to you two boys and Rossco as well. So that's my story from last Thursday. But no, what a small world we live in. Totally.
That is fantastic. How good is it? I reckon, and I don't know the name, but legend, whoever you are, I reckon he's got the script there, Janath, with the signature on it. Maybe just pin that on the wall, mate, instead of going to the chemist there. So, yeah, shout out to you, mate. How good is it? How fun is it when it randomly happens where someone you pop into actually listens to the Swordplay potty? So, yeah, shout out to you, mate. That is, I didn't know where you were going with the confidentiality thing with the medical stuff. I thought you're pretty above board, Janath. So, where are we actually going here? But no, a very, very nice story to start with. Spillsy, how are you, my friend? Now, injured at the moment, can't get on the park yourself. Essendon aren't going too well, but how are things in general, brother?
I'm good, boys. I'm in very good spirits. Yeah, still injured, just like most of everyone's Supercoach team. But yeah, and the Dons as well. I mean, yeah, they're going bloody shithouse, boys. I feel really bad for them. That was a hard game to watch, but yeah, my missus was happy about it. So yeah, obviously, yeah, she's a Richmond supporter. So yeah, happy wife, happy life, I suppose. So got to be glass half full. She was definitely getting stuck into me about that game, but that was an interesting spectacle. It was 2 VFL teams going head to head, so it was pretty funny. But yeah, genuine rabble, and yeah, I just want to sort of send me condolences out to Nicky Martin. I'm absolutely devastated for him. Boys, one of my favourite players. I don't know what we would be without him, and Merritt as well, but yeah, footy's a cruel game, isn't it? You just want to see him run around, and there's a lot more to the sport than Supercoach itself. So yeah, I'm going well, but yeah, it's definitely heart goes out to Nicky boy, because another ACL injury list has suddenly grown almost bigger than Richmond. So yes, probably put the queue in the rack for this year with both footy and Supercoach, but yeah, nonetheless keen to chat some banter with you boys and get on with it. So yeah, really looking forward to it, lads.
Beautiful, Spills. And that's a really good shout to Nicky Martin as well. A big fan of the Swordplay podcast, as we know. Absolutely shattered for the man. And very quickly, boys, I got to see 2 games live this week, which was good. So went and saw the Lions versus the Baggers for a decent win. I'm not going to rub anything in at the moment, Janet.
Right,
but
nothing to rub in.
It's nice to see a live victory and owning Bond, having him as captain.
Oh, so good.
Wow, got to see Adelaide and the Bulldogs live as well with Brento, Tyler, and a few of the boys on the weekend as well. So very nice, and owning some of the big boys in those games. Dunkley as well, I owned for a nice 150. Very, very nice, boys. But let's jump straight into it. Good Friday appeal. We're up to $315. So we have had another beanie sold during the week. Very, very exciting. If we can keep this coming and get as close as we can to, let's just say $350, that would be a really nice goal, I think, by the end of the season, lads. And shout out to Teller and the crew at Speedy Tees for producing all of our wonderful merch as well. Cash Cow boys, it has not gone off. This is a week, I think. This is a week. Listen out closely, people. Now, game day squad, this is where we do start to get a little bit excited. It's Swordplay, the Supercoach Swordplay pod, but we are big into our GDS here. And if you take a look at the season, this is not the weekly, but the season leaderboard in the contender series, we see our man Janath there sitting comfortably in 8th position. Brother, how are you feeling? Are you getting a little bit nervous? Are you confident that you've got a shot at actually making it to the top in the contender comp?
Comfortably is a very kind way to put it. I will say this week was an absolute disaster across the board. Gold Nicky Martin. Oh, gold Nick Martin, silver Connor Rozee, Matt Kennedy scored 35, Tristan Sherry 65. Like, you get the good players, and then there's some absolute disaster scores around there. So very lucky to still be sitting in 8th. A quick shout out to Bales Nails. That's Bales DT, actually. So one of the AFL fantasy.
Yeah, I think I'll follow him on Twitter.
Legends.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of other legends in there as well. Tommy from GDS is in 4th there. So it's stiff competition. But no, looking forward to that. And we're back with the Game Day Squad giveaway. So if you comment down who you think's going to be the highest Supercoach scorer this round, and you get it right, we'll give you guys a gold or a platinum, up to you, depending what comps you play, version of that player. So get into the comments. We've had some really good giveaways in the last couple of weeks of Game Day Squad, and perhaps DR and I will put together another pods, locks, and avoids off the round for Game Day Squad this week.
I like it, mate. And I've just got my Brody Grundy Silver on the screen there. Again, the great thing about this game, many of us cannot get to Brody Grundy this week. It's impossible. We've either haven't got the money or we haven't got the trades. But guess what? In Game Day Squad, just bring him in from the bench if you need it. It is that easy. You've got that many players that you can build your squad with. It is not funny. And it is not too late to jump on, people. So that code word, the referral code is PEANUT, PEANUT, when you sign up and verify. That will give you over $20 worth of free packs. So never too late.
And one other thing, it's not too early to start sort of getting those cards in for finals fantasy. So Game Day Squad, Aussie rules, they have the finals fantasy. So every single week during finals, you pick your team from players that are playing in that round. So you'd want to probably have some kind of base of players to choose from. So it's not too early to start now. Get into that auction market, snag a couple of players that might be quite handy come finals time. So look at the top 9 teams. They're probably going to be 8 of the 9 teams that are playing in the finals. Snag some handy players from there.
I like that. Hey, do you know what? I just thought about this. Sorry, I don't want to digress too far, but there could be a bit of strategy in this. So I could, for example, give up a Naz, a really nice Naz card, who won't be playing finals. If I'm playing in this finals league for someone that is playing finals, maybe of a lesser value to a Naz, but given the fact they're playing finals, there could be some strategy here, mate. Like it a lot. Like it a lot. All right, let's get into these round reviews now. Our man Rossco is not here at the moment, but a 23.86. Not too bad. We can see Rossco, and he's been doing this, it seems like, for a couple of months now. More green arrows, so up 2,587 spots inside the top 30K. So I know that was a bit of a goal for him short term. Long term, who knows where this man can go. So big congratulations to Rossco. Spillsy, did you want to jump in, mate, with your round review for the week? How long is this going to be, mate?
Not very long, boys. I don't really have much to say here, if I'm being honest, because, if I go into it, I'm definitely going to get into trouble for whinging because there will be some serious ranting going on. But, I think we're well past that now. I've definitely waved the white flag this year. I copped a lot of injuries, like Cherry, Rozee, horne-francis, and I've only got 2 trades left. So, it's pretty much curtains for me, but still going to try and play for fun. try and get myself back in it. But yeah, it's obviously a bit of a mulligan year, and I'm happy to cop that. And you can't really, it's a bit unlucky too. I mean, a Rozee 53 as captain wasn't really what I had in mind. I really liked the matchup, started well, but yeah, obviously the VC fell through. I can't actually remember who I VC'd, but
Dacos must have been Dacos, was it?
was Dacos. So that was
Yeah.
really surprising. So yeah, I didn't have Butters. So yeah, that was a weird one. But yeah, boys, a lot of lessons learned for this year, and yeah, I think we'll bring him into 2026. But yeah, I'll be cheering on particularly you two big dogs and George as well. And like, I don't really want to talk about my side, but rightly so. I don't really need to, but I do want to talk about George, and I just want to give him a massive shout out to how good
The man's a freak,
he's
isn't
going.
he?
And what I
He's
really
a
like
freak.
about
How does he do it?
how
He's a
does he do
genius.
it? I'll tell you how he does it, DR. This is a man that listens to very little outside noise. He won't trade in like the number one traded player all the time. He won't trade out the number one traded out player all the time. He's someone that really sticks to his gut, backs in what he knows, doesn't get beaten by what he knows. That's what he sort of always alludes to on the like FTTV potty, what David King says. So he's just someone that just sticks to his gut, and it's something that a lesson that I've learned that I'd really like to bring into 2026. So I don't think it's too much of a fluke that he's up there. So yeah, from where he was and how glass half empty he was about his side, I think he's sitting 180th or something now. Crazy effort. So yeah, it might not be my year, but why not give a shout out to like someone who, is having a good year. So yeah,
I like that,
that's me,
Spillsy.
boys.
That's
I
good.
like
That's
that,
really
mate.
nice.
Just handballing to a positive. Very, very nice. Now, Janath, I may let you jump in here, mate, because we'll leave the top of the pod this week, maybe till last, my friend.
Nah, you can have it. You can have top of the pod, mate. I'll have top of the season ranked.
DR, I'm sorry, mate. You walked right into that. I could have seen that coming from a mile away.
Yeah, that
Well
was a
played,
drive.
Janath.
I
Kudos.
just sat in the chair and gone, spraying me.
Nah, it's okay.
That's what we play.
It was one of those rounds where the difference between the top guns and the fake primo / the injuries was so big. So in terms of the big guns, Butters, captain, Bond 172, Dawson 157, Dunkley 151, even a Jordan Clark 125, the horny one playing with a broken foot 131. Like, these are all scores which were like amazing, but then that bottom end really fell out in terms of Cherry with the 50, Callum Mills a 55. Like, that was an odd game. Sam Darcy limped to a 79. Bailey Smith and Max Holmes were both called must-have 72 and 73 each. Like, these are abnormal scores, really. And so it really does give a lot of proof that best 23 is probably saving a lot of our sort of, I wouldn't say dignity is not the right word, but in terms of some of the scores that we're putting out, it's being saved a lot by this 23rd player that you just lose at the bottom end. And yeah, just a tricky week. Last week, I don't think I did any trades. No trades last week. But the bench cover, Manny Liddy is looking good. Tom McCarthy, but
Manny.
I don't think many teams are having much good bench cover, especially our forward. If you're not an Archer May or Tom, not Tom McCarthy, what's his name? Job Shanahan owner.
If you trade him in, he looks good. He looks really good. And I
he's
think
a
we're
jet.
going to get we're going to get what's his face name, boy?
Liam McMahon.
But I think Simpson as well, not too far off. So he could be someone that just randomly comes back in our sides. I've got Simpson just rotting away there at F8, but yeah, there's every chance that he comes back in the next couple of weeks. So any cover's good cover, particularly in the forward line. So
beautiful. All right, well, I'll jump in. First time in a long time, it seems, that I've been top of the pod. Just managed to get above 2,500 this week, so 25-1-2. And to be honest, boys, there was a fair bit of luck involved. Now, going into the round, not owning your Nick Martin, your Xerrits, your Rosees, these type of blokes, it was not a nice feeling. But somehow, towards the end of it, I did avoid most of the carnage. Sherry's my main concern, but I don't really own any of these other blokes that have injury concerns. So I did come out of it pretty well. So a little bit of luck involved. And I did put a tweet out. Again, a bit of a scary situation. I always check out, obviously, the third man ups captain options, as well as the great pigs captain options, and just mix them all up and see what combination I come up with. And I didn't have any of the top picks this week. So I thought, right, we've got Bont in the side. We paid up for a reason. There you go, son. Big responsibility this week, and did the man deliver? So a little bit of luck there, because if I had have owned Rozee, for example, or Nick Martin, I would have gone them over Bont. So you got to take luck when it comes your way. In the midfield, just cherry ripe this week with the Bont, Dawson, Hewitt, Brayshaw, Dunkley, and Sheasel sitting there as well, all performing pretty admirably. So cannot complain, boys, being top of the pod, but I'm sure next week things will change up again. And this hasn't changed here. Janath at 1. I'm just holding on to 2. Spillsy coming at 3. And Rossco maybe on the leaderboard soon. All right, boys. Now, this is pretty much where we're going to get to the meat of the podcast here. And when I say the meat, there's not many veggies with it. This is going to be the big discussion point here. And we've got 4 main injuries. Obviously, Nick Martin, our friend Spillsy, you already talked about this, your man from Essendon in the intro. He'll be gone for the season. Just shocking news, and gone for a farewell as well. We've got Touk Miller, a bit more of a pod selection as a midfielder, but I know some people will be looking for a replacement for him. Touk and Xerri, obviously with a suspension. Now, keep in mind, boys, that North will be appealing this. I don't know what their chances of getting him off will be. I'm not too sure, but I think we do need to prepare for the worst case scenario here, which would be 3 weeks. And then obviously the horny man, likely with a broken foot, to miss the remainder of the season. So they're the big 4. There are a few other injuries floating around here and there. Spills, you could go on for 5 minutes about Essendon's injury list, unfortunately, mate. Yeah. But they're the big 4 that we're really going to focus on this week, boys. So let's get into some of these targets. I reckon, now, we'll start with the Rucks. If you haven't already checked it out, I put out a video focusing on 11 replacement options with a bit of a deep dive into some numbers, averages, and all the rest. So if you're keen, make sure you check out that video for some more detailed discussion. We're going to get through it pretty quickly in today's potty, but I do have a few player options here. I haven't included all of them. And then Spillsy, you're going to rate our ratings towards the end of this Ruck discussion, because Janath has given his ratings 1 through to 11. So have I with the Rucks, as have a couple of other legends as well. You're going to have the final say here, Spills. Who is closest to the pin in your opinion? So,
very quickly. Sorry, I just want to get it in. The tribunal is deliberating on Xerri as we speak.
At the moment.
Perhaps we should go talk about the other lines, and then if he is suspended, we'll get back to the Rucks.
All right. Let's skip through a few slides here. Let's skip through a few slides, right?
We'll get back to these.
All right. How about this, man? The horny man. Now, luckily, and this is very selfish here and this personal to me, I don't own the horny man. I was so close the other week. Remember I made that sideways trade from Chocky to Hewitt? It was going to be Bolton to horne-francis, and that would have turned out to be an absolute disaster. But has Chocky gotten his bike last couple as well? And all of a sudden he's not getting tagged. Just the story of my Supercoach 2025 season, boys. But Janath, you are an owner of the horny man. Spillsy, you are an owner of the horny man. So this affects you two personally. This is personal to you two. So I may take a little bit of a backward step here and let you two have a discussion about who some options we can seriously look at to replace this bloke with. Now, Janath, is there one single person that comes straight to mind if you don't currently own them?
Right now, based off of this, in terms of a play that I don't own that I want to have in, is Jack Macrae. And mainly it's a fixtures play. So the Geelong matchup is tough, but then he's got Melbourne, North, Richmond, Essendon in the 4 games after that. That feels like a run that I want to get on. But at 521K, and this is the slide indoors moment even in my season, like at their bye when they were both injured, it was to hold one of them. I moved off Macrae thinking the internal injury, probably more of a risk than a hamstring injury that he's done, horne-francis done before. And it's just like, you can't beat yourself down for it because it's the right process, wrong result, really. Like, it's just something that you can't predict, broken foot. Like, it's one of those injuries where they're just so innocuous, sort of thing. But yeah, Macrae is the one where if I don't have him, I want to get on. The other one I'm going to give a very quick shout out to a player that has had such a consistent year, averaged 99 before this week, but a 23 from Matt Kennedy. Had 6 touches, 4 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 marks, still had 40% CBA. So his CBAs went all the way down. But now he's got back-to-back 150 break-evens, and I think a play that even I'm considering is, if I go Cherry Gorn with minimal money in the bank, there's really no one to get horne-francis up to from 438k. But Kennedy will get into that price bracket next week or even the week after, sort of thing. And playing Essendon, Melbourne, and West Coast in 3 of the last 5 games, I feel like he's a player who before the 23, the lowest score he had, dating back to round 6 was an 89 or 87. That's how consistent he has been.
Yeah.
And so if he can get to 430k this week, and I can just do the direct horne-francis to Kennedy swap next week, cop 22 this week, that is a play that you can also do. And so those 2 are the plays where one's outside of the price bracket. I imagine that most people have Bailey Smith, Luke Jackson types. Like Luke Jackson and Bailey Smith aren't in the best form themselves. The 4s are just a really hard bunch to pick out of.
Spillsy.
Yep.
Could you potentially be interested in a young key forward as a replacement option for the horny man?
Yeah, well, I can actually allude to this pretty well because I might speak for many here, but aren't we cash strapped? And there's not much you can really do with 430k. How many trades do you have? So how much salary do you have? What do you got in the bank? So can you really get up to a McRae? I'm with Janath. I think McRae is probably the next best available. But if I had to think a little bit outside the box, I really like Riley Thilthorpe, and he's someone that I wouldn't mind bringing in just for a little bit of fun. I mean, let's enjoy the season. A couple of key forwards, Darcy and Thilthorpe. Can you believe it? Imagine having those 2 on the same side. So if they can have a really good week between the 2 of them, hopefully we see a little bit of progression. But just real quickly, I actually have a bit of a stat about horne-francis with Janath will like this one. I don't like it because it is personal. I won't ramble on it. But averages that the horny man has had in my team versus out of my team throughout the whole season.
What do we
got? And I think a lot might be able to relate to this. I have ruled out the 22 as a mulligan against Geelong. I'm not counting that. So in my team, he's averaged 84 for the whole year. And that's including the big 130 we had on the weekend. So that boosted up a little bit. Not in my team, which is majority of the season, not owning him, 118.5. So if we're talking about a burn man, this is a shocker. So yeah, he's been a killer, hasn't he? Really sums up the year. But budget options, boys. Yeah, I like Thilthorpe. I think he's a great pick, and it is slim pickings because we've lost Martin. There's a few other ones there. Dan Curtin, real respectfully, what is this form? Where did this come from? We thought he could have almost been a little bit of a bust. Was that key forward at the start of the year? Wasn't really going too well. He's just dominating now. He looks every bit the player he's drafted for. So he could be another one. But yeah, I think McRae's the best option. But if you're looking at budget and you've only got about 30k in the salary cap, I'm probably leaning towards Thilthorpe. That'd be my one.
Can I interest you potentially in another key forward? Or not?
You can, yeah. Look, I'll take anything from anyone at this point, mate. Any advice?
I'm just going to throw some options out there, mate. Now, just throwing another option out there, if you're a bit of a do you feel lucky punk type thing. Another key forward, the Coleman medal leader in Jeremy Cameron. Now, I'm just taking a look at his run here. We've got the Saints at GMS, North at Marvel, Port at GMS, Essendon at GMS, Sydney at the SCG, bit of a tough one there.
He loves the Dons there.
And ends with Richmond at the MCG, Spillsy, in our Supercoach Grand Finals. Now, last time against Richmond, 131. Last time against Essendon, 116. North, as he played them, no. But what I'm thinking here, Spillsy, is that we could see a couple of really nice ceiling games from Jezza. He won't want to give up the Coleman. Has he got an unassailable lead? Probably. At the moment, he'd be, be pretty dodgy not to win it from here. But Just throwing out there another option in Jeremy Cameron, and it's purely looking at the fixture. Even someone like a Brian Myers, his Geelong teammate, as a bit of a pod option. There's a blanket you could throw at so many people. I could throw a Cosy Pickett's name out there, but we look to the weekend, he gets tagged by Will Phillips. I don't know if you boys are watching that game. A couple of his shots for goal, you could not kick a worse shot for goal. Not even if you tried. That was absolutely terrible. And I had him with the gold card on game day squad as a bit of a pod selection there that didn't work out too well for me. But
There was one from like 10 meters out. It was a set shot. It was just so
that was
out of
the other
character.
one. Oh,
How out of
man.
character was that? Like he's never gonna. He's probably never done that, and will never ever do that again his whole career. It was just the most, bizarre. I don't know. You back him over every player in the comp to kick that one. So I don't mind it. Actually, he seems like a pretty good shout. Actually,
yeah. Look, just another name I just want to throw out there. Janath, one of your exes. Isaac Rankin. Now, this is not to rub anything in at all.
No,
How
definitely.
are you feeling about it now? After watching him the last couple of weeks and seeing him go the ton, have you changed your tune on Isaac whatsoever? Or have you still not got him in that sort of top 6 to 8 range?
No, well, if you look at the stats, he's the fourth average in forward because all the other forwards have fallen off a cliff. Like the time that we traded Rankin out, now that I look back on it, he's gone better than Warner. He's gone better than Petrarch. He's gone toe-to-toe with Daniel. And he's exceeded Darcy after Darcy's explosion against Richmond. Like, I guess it's a lesson in itself, so even for someone that's ranked highly like myself. Like, I guess with Rankin, it was just the role just didn't feel like it was going to be there. But to be fair, the buy play, he had to kick 5 goals to get that 130. On the weekend, he looked good, and he'll play well in high, like when the scaling is on the line, sort of thing. And so, look, it's just one of those things where, in hindsight, I think Darcy is a play that even in a couple of weeks, he could still look good. Like on the weekend, he looks so ominous, but he just couldn't mark anything. Like I felt like every single kick went into his hands, and he kept dropping them. Like he could have easily scored 120 if they stuck and he kicked a couple of more goals, sort of thing.
Very true, mate.
They're both freaks, and I think that Rankin's definitely one you can go after. Very quickly, we can go back to the Tristan Cherry slides because his ban has been upheld. He'll miss the next 3 games.
He's gone. All right, so he's confirmed gone. All right, one last one. I keep on saying one last one. And Janath, again, I don't mean to bring this up. This one isn't in your wheelhouse, Spillsy, because you said Ryan Marrick. Don't go near Humpty. Do not go near this man. Go with Marrick, and I followed you, Spillsy, and thank you very much for that advice, mate. But with Touk gone, is there a midfield role now for Humphrey, or even my ex from last year, Sam Flanders?
Nettie. Look, this is one of those things where Bailey Humphrey himself has said that he wants to play as a small forward. I don't think many players in the league say they want to play as a small forward. This was a couple of months ago. But if we look at the CBA numbers, like Gold Coast is such a tight mix. Now, Humphrey on the weekend at 82% CBAs, which is something that I was really surprised by. I felt like Miller got injured. Humphrey was the one that went in. Like 82% is a season high for him. He hasn't had above 50 all season, except once against Hawthorn in round 10. Sam Flanders had 14% CBAs. Now, would it surprise me if that switches? I don't know. Would it surprise me if it stays the same? Probably. Like, it's not. Probably not. Like, it's one of those things where Anderson and Rao both had 90+% CBAs.
That's nuts.
Now, Miller would have had that number. Was it an in-game adjustment? I'm worried that it is. And they'll bring back in, like, how far away is, like, a Will Graham? Like, Will Graham is 1 to 3 weeks away. He comes in, he probably takes a midfield role. So that's one of those things where, it's just such a tough play. It is definitely a dart throw. Sort of like, you can go there and he can get you that 100. but he can also get you the 50s that we got earlier this year. Like,
Mm,
just one of those boomerang
It's a
plays.
stab in the dark. You so much
It is.
uncertainty.
Yeah.
We can go back
Yeah.
to that infamous discussion, boys, but probably still pick Marek over him at this point.
You're
Honestly,
still going, Marek.
Yeah.
You're still
we'll
backing
go
your boy,
Marek.
man.
Yep. No,
Now,
start
very
like
with-
quickly here, as well, like a player that's form's gone dramatically off a hill this year, Dylan Moore. Sort of, if this was last year and Dylan Moore's there at 460, you'd be tempted by him, but I don't think you can go near him with a 10-foot pole at the moment.
Agreed, mate. He's got the talent, and I love Dylan Moore, but yeah, it just hasn't been his year. All right, boys. Well, very good discussion with some potential replacements for the Horny Man. Let's get to the Rucks. Here we go. So we've got a few slides up here. As I mentioned, we're not going to go through every player, but it's interesting to look at the seasonal average compared to the 3-rounder and the 5-rounder. Janath, you just talked about someone that's fallen off a bit of a cliff with their form, but look at Max Gawn here with the average compared to the 3 and 5. So number 1 for seasonal average when it comes to the Rucks, then goes down to number 9 and 8. Now, this is with the players on this list. So we're focusing on 11 players here, and it may not be the exact number, but based off these 11 here. We do see with the 3 and 5-rounder that there are 2 players there in Marshall and Meek that have been in some pretty decent form. We know that Meek's coming off a couple of decent scores there as well. We look down the bottom, and sorry, Janath, but the 3 and 5-rounder, Mr. Generational TDK. Now, people are bashing him a little bit. Keep in mind, he's got that larynx issue. He's been playing predominantly as a key forward. I think we need to back off a little bit here. I don't think it's necessarily all his fault.
And he doesn't know what he wants to do.
It would be.
He doesn't know what he wants to do about his future career. So, look, we can't blame him, but Supercoach is a ruthless world. We can't be taking any sort of empathy for these kinds of players, sort of thing, when we're making our trades.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Well, if you do want to go back and check out that video, the players we do cover: Gawn, Grundy, Dogger, Cameron, Englishwitz, TDK, Meek, Marshall, Nank, and Briggs. We're going to take a look at just a few of the players here very, very quickly. Now, this is obviously our budget option here in Big Kizza. Now, the average is 18th overall for Ruckman, but he's just hasn't been able to have any consistency really to his year. 103.3 for the 3-rounder, and very similar with the 5-rounder. The matchups, there's a bit of everything here, isn't there? A couple of really nice ones there, then some reds. Boys, anything that you want to touch on with Kieran Briggs? Do we like this pick at all, or do you think we just need to try to find the money to pay up a little bit more?
Yeah, don't rate it. I can't really comment. I can't really comment anything on this. Sorry, but I just think you're better off paying up a little bit extra for like what I think is a much better option. Maybe that's just me being salty because Nick Martin's not getting a crack. But I don't really know enough about Big Briggsy to really like endorse the pick. So yeah, I'm not going to tell people to trade him in because yeah, you just never know with him, do you? Like not the player he was in 2023, I reckon it was, where he just would have freaked. So
yeah, had him at R2.
Yeah,
Janath, not high on your ratings, mate. Big Kizza pick.
Yeah, probably not, mate. Like, even when I'm looking at it, with 3 of the last 6 matchups are going to be Grundy, Cherry once he's back, and Jared Witz. Like, we know they're 3 of the toughest Ruckman to score against. So, unless it is the only way you can get horne-francis and Cherry to, let's say you want to get McRae, and Briggs is the way you're going to have to go to get that, I can somewhat endorse it, but I just think it's such a risky play. Like it's probably more downside than upside is the way I'd put it.
I would agree with that, mate. The next man is Tim English. Now, burn man for many, but he's had a relatively consistent season. Now, we saw in 2023, this guy was arguably the toughest antipod in the game. 2024, lost around 20 points off his average, and he's pretty much continued to average currently what he is this season, what he did last season. So we look at the matchups. There's actually 4 green there. So you've got Essendon, GWS, West Coast, and Fremantle, which I don't mind at all. Brisbane, yeah, okay, sort of a tough matchup. And then we've got the Ds there with Max Gawn, which is always a little bit of a tough one. But 5 sub-90 scores, only the 3 125 plus scores. I can't believe I'm saying this about Tim English, but is he the safe option that we've got here, boys?
Yeah,
I like him.
possibly.
I think he's a
Yeah.
fine pick, honestly. He's super
He's not the
consistent.
worst. He's not the worst by any means.
Well,
yeah.
You go,
You
Janath.
don't seem too excited, though. That's the thing. You don't seem too excited. You're like, oh, it's not the worst, but
Well,
not really
it's tough
jumping out
because
at
you
the same
you want
time.
Gorn. Actually, what's Gorn price? It might even be
We'll get
cheaper.
to him in a
He's
second.
cheaper. He's
Yeah.
cheaper.
It's
Yeah.
cheap, yeah. So let's say like you're like me. You have Gorn. You got Xerri. So what do? Grundy's out of your price range. Now, it's a bit stiff. Like, I'll try to ramble on here, but like Johnson down on 99k rookie for me, and then Xerri up to Grundy is not doable by about 5k. So really stiff. So Grundy clearly the best, but it's a real battle for second spot here. I mean, if you've already got Gorn, you got to weigh up English, like Meek we'll talk about in a second, Cameron. But I actually really like English based off these matchups. Like, he's got Old Gold, Kizza, West Coast as well. These are really pretty good matchups. So super consistent, safe as houses. I don't hate it, boys. I would have in the past, but yeah, the more I look at these stats, I'm warming up to it. For me, it'll be English versus Meek. But yeah, what do you reckon, Janath? Can you endorse his pick? I can definitely endorse it a lot more than Kizza. But yeah, for those that are a bit cash straps like myself, mate, what's some advice that you'd give if you're targeting a little bit of value? And yeah, would you encourage picking him?
I wouldn't say his value is the way because a 579k.
Value, sorry, discounted.
Yeah.
I mean, he's no Grundy.
He's no great. No, definitely not. And
no one's no Grundy.
If you go for Grundy, you're banking him to score 140 basically every week because he's got the run to do it. And something would have to go wrong for him not to score 140 every week. Whereas with English, he probably only needs to average 110, which I say only. He's averaging 107. And he probably needs to average 110 to make the pick worth it. Now, if you compare for those that don't have Gorn or English, like myself, like some other coaches, I just come back to the fact that I probably know what I'm going to get from Gorn most weeks. Like, he's had a bad couple of weeks by his standards, but when you've got Carlton, St Kilda, West Coast in the next 3, like those are 3 prime matchups for someone like a Gorn. Whereas for English, like Brisbane, double ruck setup, Essendon, yeah, he'll probably feast. GWS, Kizza, they're very similar ruckman. Melbourne, and then the last 2 as well. He should probably do well. So from the matchups perspective, it's quite handy. He's got better matchups than Meek, but Meek has looked really good the last couple of weeks, and I just don't see what the support for Meek's going to come from a sort of ruck contest perspective. I'm just going to have a quick look to give you guys some numbers on sort of the ruck contest. So at Hawthorn, Lloyd Meek's consistently taken 85%. Sorry, DR, yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't even got
Tim
Meek
English,
here.
Tim English has been mid-70s to 80. So Meek is getting sort of a higher percentage of the ruck split at Hawthorn compared to a Tim English. So value-wise, Spillsy, I reckon Meek could be the way to go. But for you, if you've got the one trade...
I don't think value matters at this time of the year. I'd trade in a player with a 200 break even if I liked him more than a player with a 70 break even because you're going to hold him for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter. But in terms of, if you had to separate the two, rule out the price and just based on who's got the better matchup.
If you had to tell me who's going to score more from here to the end of the season, I'd probably say Tim English.
Yeah. I would have said Meek earlier, but I think after seeing. You just overlook English every time, but seeing these matchups, I reckon I'm starting to sway a little bit towards no speaker because, he has been super consistent. Didn't realize how consistent he was. So, yeah, you got to give the kudos where it's due on the occasion, but I think he's a fine pick, particularly for the coin. If you can't get to even a Marshall and a Dogger, like a Ruru, like they're a bit expensive. If you don't have another 20k. And you got to pick between no speaker and Meeky. I don't know. I feel like English is fine. Dogger, DR. What do you reckon, mate?
I'm slightly worried.
He's a midfielder. He's playing mid.
Well, this is the thing. Is he going to play ruck, midfield, forward? Is unicorn? Will he
Mm.
play all three? So when you're looking at the DVPs for Dogger, it's like, am I comparing his ruck matchup,
Yeah.
his midfield matchup, or he's a key
Oh.
forward here? It's really, really tough. And because I've got so many question marks around him, that's why he goes down my list a little bit. I'd rather a couple of the cheaper options below him. Now, if you told me Shrek was going to be out, get him in, get Dogger in. But with Shrek in the side, and I'm talking full games, his average goes below 90. So that's a bit of a concern for me. The potential and the ceiling is absolutely there. And he could feast on a couple of those matchups as well. And looking back to what he's already done this season against a couple of these teams, he's gone large, but that's been with Shrek out of the side. So Shrek is the massive factor here for me. Janath, am I looking too much into this with Shrek on the side? Do you think I should just give Dogger a crack? Because overall, if we look at his season, he's fourth for the big boys for averages in the rucks.
No, not at all. And we were talking last week just how surprised we were in terms of his score as sort of like as a forward, like he's averaging 119. Now that's down to 117, which is still no mean feat. Here are some stats, and it's really, I'm just backing up what we already know sort of thing. So in the last 4 games he's played as the sole ruck, his scores have been 111, 143, 163, and 186. And so in between that, the games he's played with Shrek in the side, so I'm going to go from round 8. So 64, 122, 100, 116, 80, 84. So you're paying up basically for, let's say, what's a good example? Let's say you're paying up for like a Jack McRae. I think that's those are sort of the scores you'll get. Like maybe not the 64, but you're getting in and around the 80 to 100 sort of continuum. Is paying up 603k worth it for the Ruck DPP? Because if he was 603k Ruck only, we're not considering him. Not at all, are we? The reason why we're considering it is because of the DPP.
Yeah, but really, how are you using your Ruck DPP with flexes now? I just think it's really hard. So I'd be even taking the DPP out of consideration. And just based off what we just looked at there, the numbers, the pure numbers with Shrek and Dogger in the same team, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer for me. I'm not prepared to pay over 600k. So I think that's pretty unanimous there, boys. We'll just move on from Dogger. And this guy hasn't had much discussion at all. Now, I've just got here a solid citizen, 2 tougher opponents to end the year with Rob and Gawn, but potentially a couple of nice matchups in the next 2 weeks with Freo, Richmond. Then you got Brisbane and Hawthorn. It's DCAM. So on average, over 110 this year, 5th. Look, the 3-rounder is 8th, and the 5-rounder he's 4th. So he hasn't done anything overly spectacular, but he's not the sort of ruckman that I think will let you down. Out of the last 11 weeks, this is just from memory, I think he's only gone sub-ton twice, and it might have been against Xerri and maybe Wits. I know they were 2 really good opponents, and I'm giving him a bit of a pass for that. So all in all, I think this guy is a solid selection, and I'd have him around the same range as Timmy English. I just like English's matchups more than I do Cameron's matchups. So that's all I'll really add, because I talked a bit in the previous video. Janath, anything you can add on DCAM here?
Yeah, look, I've really liked DCAM in terms of everything you brought up, mate. Like when he's like hitting that 105 to 120 range so frequently, and then the occasional spy score like the 156 against St Kilda. The only sort of looming red flag, which we haven't really seen much of this year, but we saw last year, was Mason Cox. So Mason Cox was back in the team on the weekend. So the ruck split went all the way down from that sort of 70 to 85 range of DCAM down to 61%. And then Mason Cox was at a 34% clip, which is a lot higher for him than normal.
Yeah.
Daniel McStay has normally been playing as a second ruck. That's where I'm a bit concerned about DCAM with. And that with Max Gawn, he's probably not going to get much of a chop out from anyone. Really, he's at 80 to 85% ruckman. DCAM can play as a 60 to 70%, 70% ruckman sort of thing. and then rely a lot on those intercept marks to build up his scoring. And that's the concern, where if he doesn't have the floor with the ruck sort of percentage, can he really bank on intercept marks to get to the 100, 120 type scores that we're probably looking for come the end of the season? Spillsy, where do you sit on DCAM?
I actually really like him. He's definitely got a lot to do with why the Pies look like they're charging for another premiership, for 17th premiership, which would be wild. But he's the man. He's having a career best season, but I can't really overlook the 2 red flags in the bottom right there. So 2 tough opponents. That's your finals. That's your prelim and your grand final. So if you're competing for leagues, I'd almost put a line through him completely. And yeah, great point with Mason Cox. Is he a chance to be rested? Pies are going to finish top of the table, you'd think. Can they start managing players before September? Or before the final starts anyway? So I don't know. It's a lot of speculation. I think he's a good pick. Pretty consistent as well, which is something that he's really fixed up from last year. Not as many floor scores, still the occasional ceiling score. But yeah, I'm just not really sure. I don't know too much about it. I'd rather back in sort of what I know, and at least I've owned like a Tim English in the past, and yeah, I'm probably leaning towards him still. But yeah, you got to give him the respect it deserves, because he's been a great pick this year. So can't
Very
fault
solid.
it, but I just wouldn't bring him in.
This is a bloke I like. If you're not able to afford Brodie Grundy, it is Romo. Now, look at the matchups there. You don't see too much red. We've got Big Maxi in a couple of weeks' time, but apart from that, it's Geelong, North, and North is in green there. You would have seen North potentially in orange before, but this is because Tristan Xerri will not be available. This is going to be in 3 weeks' time. So after a Xerri-less North, he then faces Richmond, Essendon, and then Big Kizza to end the season. So just looking at that draw, that is almost enough just to sway me. Now, it's not all roses here. If we look at the season average, he's 10th overall for Ruckman. That's still behind someone like a TDK. But for 3-rounder and 5-rounder, he's right up there, 2nd and 3rd, so top 3 for both. And we know on his day, remember what he did against West Coast, does have a massive ceiling. Now, one red flag that I've got is the fact that Ross Lyon did flag some potential forward time or some extra forward time for Romo, which is of a slight concern for me. Young Heath came into the side, and I think he was around 30% for his CBA time, Rowan being 70. So that's probably the only concern I've got here with the pick. Janath, you're currently a Romo owner, aren't you? Are you a happy owner going into this next 6 weeks? Is he someone you'd recommend to get into the side?
I'd be much happier if Max Heath was playing the Isaac Keeler role. Now, you're right. So the CBA numbers, we can even look a bit further into the ruck contest percentage. So Rowan Marshall had a ruck contest percentage of 64% on the weekend. Max Heath at 33%. So typically, Roma, this was his lowest for the season, apart from the game he played with Harry Boyd at the start of the season. So that's the concern I have there. But as an owner, seeing those matchups, it's so promising, because he will still be the predominant ruck. And if he can get into that 70s, I'm happy. Perhaps he was a bit higher with Heath in his first game, sort of thing. But hopefully they settle Heath more as a forward and let Roma cook. The only sort of concern, and is this them preparing for life with TDK and Rowan Marshall in the same team? Reading the tea leaves, potentially it is, but we can only back what we really know, right?
That's exactly right, mate. Spillsy, we know that you can't afford him yourself, but if you did have the coin, would you look to lock Rowan in if you couldn't afford Grundy and you already own Gawn?
Yeah, I actually like him. I think, and I've brought him up before, but I think George has him too. So it might have a bit to do with why both of you are right in the top 1%. So he's obviously a good pick if, 2 coaches gone pretty well have him. And I look at this run home, and that's why I can really advocate for it. I mean, we know Geelong aren't, they're not too restrictive in the ruck department, but yeah, I don't think Rowan's actually played that bad against the D's, has he, Janath? I remember he punched out a 150 a year ago, but then I think the last 2 have been pretty shit. Is that right?
Yeah, 89 and 73 the last two, but scored 149 the time before Spillsy. You're spot on.
They're not awful, so I think
Good
if you can
memories.
get by against Gorn, I mean North with no Cherry, yeah, that's a 140 waiting to happen. Like Richmond, Essendon's that's the one, isn't it? That's the wouldn't you love to ruck against them? Gee, DR mate, you'd get 30 hitouts playing against the Bombers, mate. Poor old goal, just carrying the load. So I like him. I reckon he's a good pick. And if I could afford him, I'd probably consider it. I really would. I think he's fine. I'm not worried about the ruck split. I reckon it takes care of itself. And yeah, over the duration of the game, I think he'll score pretty well, particularly in the next 6 weeks. So I'd back it in. I think he's fine.
Nice, Spillsy. Boys, this is the obvious one, isn't it? Is it just safe to say, and this is after we've just talked a fair bit about these ruck options, if you don't own Max Gawn, just lock Max Gawn in if you can't get Grundy? Is it as easy as that?
No.
Yep.
You reckon?
No.
I don't know. Do we like what we see? I mean, can't say I don't know. I don't reckon he hasn't been the best pick in the last
He's
few
the
weeks.
one I'm
has he?
scared about not owning. Like
You
off that
reckon?
bunch, I could feel okay. DKims could call 120, and even if he scores 120 in the first game, I'm going to be worried about what score he can score later on. Like there's a couple of matchups in there. We saw what Grundy did to Marshall, like a couple of days ago. Like Gorney can do the exact same thing, and then West Coast, like that back to back, is pretty filthy.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that one there too. And just looking as well, I can see the two Mulligan games. I mean, Wits and Roberto, like very restrictive ruckman. We forget about that. So maybe it's just a bit of like recency bias, a bit of owner's recency bias. But yeah, maybe Gorn is the man. He's the obvious one. Just don't really think too much about it when you own him. But yeah, those matchups are good. Two red ones, but I don't think the floor is going to be that low. So I'm happy to take back what I said there. I think he's fine. I think Gorn, yeah.
If I could sum this up, I think that sometimes in the game we can overthink things. We've got so many different options. We've got your Rollins, your English, your DCAMs just throwing up. I really think this is a selection where you don't overthink it. You don't need to have a real deep dive into the numbers. This guy's got numbers for the last 5-8 years, however long he's been at Primo Ruck for us. So I'm not looking too much into matchups because, in my opinion, here's the matchup that you actually worry about coming up against. So my advice would be, if you don't own Max Gawn, do not overthink it. Don't look too far into the numbers. Look at what he's produced for a very, very long time now and just get him into your side. So that would be my simple advice. But
and very quickly, he has struggled against Pitternet in the past. Like that's something that he's openly come out and said that Piternet's one of the more stronger ruckmen that he's played against. And so if you bring him in with a break even of 150 and he does score a 100 this week, that's not a bad outcome. I think that's the way we need to view it is you don't just view a trade on 1 week, you're bringing him in for the last 6 rounds of the season. 6 rounds. Yeah.
Exactly right. And even when you're looking at someone like Lloyd Meek with a really low break even, don't worry about that. You need someone now. It doesn't matter what the break even is, even if they're going to lose a little bit short term cash. Don't worry about it. But
look at that
boys,
run.
Look at the run. Look at the average. Look at the 3-rounder. Look at the 5-rounder. Look at the price. Well, we boys now, I'm a little bit lost for words. And if anyone saw this coming from a mile out, good luck to you. I certainly didn't. We were talking up, TDK over Grundy. Just it felt like a couple of months ago, but this man has taken the competition by storm. A 3-round average of 153 and a 5-round average of 150 as well. So we're not talking about a couple of fluke ceiling games here. This bloke has been completely off the charts. And to be quite honest, a 150 is becoming the norm for him. North Melbourne, GWS, Essendon, Brisbane, Geelong, West Coast. Can you get a juicier run than that? I really don't think so. There is no red in sight. This is going to be the scariest non-owned. The only thing that I suppose makes me feel half good is the fact that currently only 3.6% of the competition own this man, and it will get higher without a doubt. How high? Well, it depends on people's bank balances and how low they're willing to go with their trades. But boys, I think a big question this week, and this is a question I'm asking myself, because I think the numbers speak for themselves. 150s across the board. We know this is going to go well. We know also the big thing to him is the captain and the vice captain option. You can pretty much lock him in, I think. The question that many coaches are going to be asking is it worth burning 2 trades to get him in over someone like an English, a Romo, whoever's in your budget, even your Max Gorn, or do you just stick to the one trade? So I'm going to put you in a scenario, boys, and put you in my scenario selfishly. You've got 3 trades left. Do you find a way to use 2 trades to bring Brodie Grundy in, or do you play it sensible and leave 2 in the bank for the remainder of the season? And you've got a Tom McCarthy sitting there as coverage as well.
It depends, because if you say all the pressure's off this season, mate, like, why not go for it? That's where, if I was sort of had no pressure at all, sort of thing, he's a very fun play to watch. Like, that's the play you want to have right now. Whereas,
Absolutely.
the old, I know the old you, in terms of like competing right to the end, you wouldn't pull that trigger. But
not a chance. That's not in my DNA. It's not in my Supercoach DNA to do it. But I'm thinking to myself, is getting him in over any other... do you know what? I'm not even going to say Ruckman. Over any other player in the competition, going to be worth it in those 6 weeks. I think that those points and the fact that I could have him as my captain and my vice captain for the next 6 weeks, I really think that they could stack up that much that even... worst case scenario, come round 24 and I'm running with a donut for some reason. Have I already made the points up in that short period of time with all things considered?
Yeah.
These are the things I'm really thinking about at the moment. Spillsy, are you in the send it, mate? You in the send it? Get him in if you go down one trade?
If I could get it done, I would. I mean, who cares? Send it, mate. Like, it's obviously... if you don't think you're gonna like crack into the like top 1K and you want to have a bit of fun, I mean, you can just captain him every single week. Has there been a player in Supercoach that's had a higher 5-round average? I know Jackson McRae had a 153 5-rounder in the middle of 2018. Has anyone topped that? We got a 154.8. Is there a higher 5-round average, boys? I mean, and this matchup, it could only get higher. Like, what is he going to do against North with no Cherry?
Take the piss, Spills.
What
Take
is he?
the absolute piss.
The P155, mate. I mean,
absolutely.
Death, taxes, and probably a 150 plus from Big Broads this weekend. So, yeah, if you can get it done, any advice I'd give, I mean, feel free to like take it with a grain of salt. You really want to take advice from me this year, but if I'd give any advice, if you can get him, I'd grab him.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I love to grab him.
His 6-round average, because before the 5-rounder, it's like a 160 before that Spills. So I reckon he must be close for 6-rounder.
I'll give you a good 6-rounder. This is a quiz. Happened in the last 6 years. I've got a 6-rounder of. Give me 1 second.
Got to be Gary Ablett, doesn't it? Just straight off the bat.
No, last few years. Did you say?
It's happened in the last 5 years. If you guys can give me the stretch as well. 163.8 in a 6-round stretch.
It wasn't the bond that included the Fremantle game, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Nah.
I owned him for this stretch. It was the best stretch of Supercoach that I've ever had.
What year was it? I'm not going to cheat, but
it's either 2021 or 2020. DR would know this. I reckon he was on this player.
And I was on the player.
I'm actually
2021.
I'm stumped. Mine doesn't go back that far.
I'll say what it's 2020. 2020 COVID year.
Yeah.
There was a player that you put the VC or C on in 2020. Oh, actually, there was 2 players in 2020. It
wasn't Chalky, was it?
It wasn't Chalky, but I could check Chalky. It was Max Gorn. From round 2 to round 8, he averaged 163.8. And his scores,
wow,
these are straight. They're just off the flesh. Max Gorn is absolutely filthy. 184, 141, 163, 153, 185, 157.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's a
isn't it?
man who enjoyed life a little bit too much in the hub, I reckon. That's some serious form. That's outrageous.
That is off the charts, isn't it?
Thought Grundy had it covered, but yeah, maybe not.
Chalky wasn't too bad, man. He had a stretch 157, 171, 166, 147, 130 to start the season. Then another stretch of 152, 157, 149, 167, 134
I thought
in
it was
round
fair.
20 in 2020.
was
He was
fair.
very close. He was averaging
And
147.
then what did he do in the start of 2021, DR?
Yeah.
Oh,
What did he do
he's been
then?
enjoyable at times, and others, oh, not so fun.
Oh, PTSD.
Carry on, boys. Sorry, sidetrack.
No, we love
Spillsy.
it. Why not?
It's up to you here, mate. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole heap of time going through all of our personal rankings here because I did that in the last video, mate. But you've got to make a decision here, mate.
Yeah.
Who do you think has this right? You've got 5 of us up here. I've gone with, in order, from my number 1 to 11th preference, Grundy, Gawn, Marshall, English, Cameron, Dogger, Witts, Meek, Briggs, Nank, TDK. Janath's gone with Grundy, Gawn, Marshall, Cameron, English, Meek, Jackson, Briggs, Nank. Absolutely given Jared Witts a backhand, a drive-by, and run over him again at number 10, and then TDK. Do you want to explain yourself on this, Janath, quickly, while you got him at number 10?
I know that Witsy, when he plays, like, he's a decent average. He's a foot soldier, as we like to call them in Supercoach. Just one that knuckles down, probably gets you that low ton sort of thing, can put out a big score. But the last thing you want in the last 6 rounds of the season is for him to get rested. And we've seen that already happen a couple of times, I think, this season already. So he got rested, or maybe it was just the one time, but I know he got rested a couple of weeks ago in round 17. Ned Moyle came in. I just think the other picks are sort of like, he's not the captain anymore, so he doesn't have to be out there every week. Whereas the other options, I just know that they're probably going to play the last 6 rounds unless injury happens.
No, good call, mate.
And then TDK is playing as a number 2 ruck at the point, which is, apart from Jackson, that asterisk is for like the DPP factor. That's why he's at 7. If he was ruck only, he's probably at 10. Like, that's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Spillsy, who do you think's the closest here, mate? Myself, Janath, Scobes in the middle, our man Steve from SDS, or our other great friend, Rookie Coach. Who are you liking here, mate? Who's closest to the pin?
So just straight off the bat, what I'm gonna say is I am in agreement with the first 3. So the Grundy, Gawn, Marshall combo is one that I'm gonna lock in just straight off the bat. So I'm gonna try and pick this as a bit of a draft. So like that'd be the main one. So yeah, so if I had to pick out of the 3. At the start of the pod, I probably would have said Scobes because I do like Meek, and he's one I've been eyeing off the most part for the week. But after looking at English's stats, and then obviously Cameron's run, it's a bit difficult, particularly last 2 in finals. I'm gonna go with you, DR. I'm probably gonna go with you. Sorry, Janath, but it's really close. It is really close. I like Meek is in my trade plans this week, actually.
Look at him. His trade plans number 8. He's at number 8.
Hey?
He's at number 8, mate, and he's in your trade plans.
Yeah, I know. That's the year, mate. That's 2025. It's full of
good,
surprises, and it's caught us off guard a lot more often than not this year. So yeah, I'm picking this not so much on season average, but more so what they can do for the rest of the year, and trying to like capitalize on the matchups a little bit more, as well as like their consistency. And I reckon, I think English looks the best, but not by much. I wouldn't have him that far ahead of Meek, but yeah, just based off that, because I'm absolute agreement. First 3, Grundy, Gawn, Marshall, very, very stock standard. But yeah, it's more picking between English, Cameron, and Meek. That makes it a little bit interesting. And Jackson as well. So, I don't mind that from SDS, but a bit of uncertainty there, role. So, I'm going with DR, but it's very, very close. So,
you're a loyal man.
It is hard to pick, though, because these are all great minds, but you've got to pick one. You can't have it all. So,
and they're pretty close. And look,
it's all very, very close. Isn't it?
With some of those later picks, it's like, do I just go shuffle around a little bit? You could throw a blanket over some
I
of
don't know
those
if you
selections
take
there in
too
the
much
middle as well.
account for that. You've probably, considering it's Xerri that's injured and 570k, you don't really need to weigh up those lower picks like your Briggs, Nank, TDK types. Depends what you want to do, but I wouldn't muck around with it. I'd try pick at least someone that's in the top sort of 4 or 5 of these guys. And I think Grundy, Gore, Marshall is the really obvious one for me anyway. But
Beautiful, Spillsy.
yeah.
All right, now, boys, we don't have any fancy graphics for our defensive friends here, but we know that with Nick Martin out, we've talked about the forward options that you can cover with Horne-Francis. We've talked about the rucks for Xerri. Let's quickly touch on, because we have gone for way longer already than what we were planning for. It happens each and every week. I know you guys have probably sent me some DMs there going, hurry it up, DR. But anyone in particular, boys, that we're really keen on? Now, I'll just throw one name straight out there. If you've got the cash, Nazaya Wanganeen Miller. I am so all over this fella. He's quickly becoming one of my favourite players in the competition, and owning him has been such a joy. Now, last week wasn't fantastic, but hey, let's give this man a break. He's got a really nice fixture to end the season. He's got a lot of runs on the board already, a massive ceiling to boot. He is my number one man, if money isn't an option. And I tell you what, the bloke who I had pegged as the number one averaging defender for 2025 in Lockie Whitfield, you can get him at an absolute bargain buy at the moment. Looked like he come back from his concussion symptoms pretty well with that 105. You've got his teammate, Lockie Ash, who you're paying up a little bit more for. But I think those three options are probably three that I would seriously consider if I didn't own them. Spillsy, do you have anyone straight off the bat that you'd really love to own? I may be being a little bit disrespectful to Max Holmes here. Would you have him potentially above any of the blokes that I mentioned?
I'm not sure. Like, Holmes is a gun, but yeah, can be prone to a tag. It's a funny one. It might not be the answer you're expecting because I have owned him. Particularly, it's been a pretty sour journey, particularly last month or so. But I'm gonna say Lockie Whitfield. I just reckon the price is really good, and maybe the concussion, it's not ideal, but it could have been a bit of a blessing in disguise for him. Maybe he needed that break, bit of time on the sidelines, reset. He looks fresh. He's ready to go. Just play his milestone game. We got a ton from him. He's in the 400 mark. I don't know what he's particular. I think he's 470, isn't he, Janath? Something like that.
Yeah,
Around
so
the
it's
mark.
490. 490.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 490. I was
Still
sort of
cheap.
close.
Very
Not
cheap.
close.
Still cheap.
Not bad.
Still
Very
got
close.
a four next to his name. So I reckon for the price, he's bang for buck. That's really good value. If you don't have Naz, I think jump on. If you do have Naz and a lot of money to play with, I do like Ash as a pod, but yeah, I reckon Whitfield's the one for me. I reckon he's fine as an owner. Hasn't really let me down too much other than the concussion, and yeah, I like his price, and
Yep.
I think the run's pretty good, isn't it, DR? It's not a terrible run for him, but usually it has been pretty consistent. So you just hope
Well,
he can get through unscathed for
Spillsy,
the rest of the year.
one thing I'm disappointed about is Janath hasn't even mentioned the third highest averaging defender that we can select at 235k in Tyler Young with 110 average. But maybe he's got some better options than that. Janath,
Yes.
got anyone up your sleeve, mate?
I've got a couple. It depends how rogue you want to go. So
We'll
start off with, we haven't talked this name. After 130-point fourth quarter, Josh Dacos played one of the absolute blinders. What is a blinder? Sort of fourth quarter there. Absolute brilliant. He was on 68, and every single time I was looking at fan footy, he's going up 20 points at a time. Like,
nuts.
It's nuts. So he took his brother's role in the midfield, and doesn't he look at home? So he's only 542k. Like, you would think, okay, 198. He's going to be 600 very, very shortly. Plays Fremantle. 5 of the last 6 at the MCG. I know one of our great friends, Dan Mashman, has been an owner for quite a while now, and
yes,
his lowest score since round 5 has been 81, and that was the only score below 90 that he's had. So he's not the worst shout, even if it's not a. I don't think he's a flash in the pan. If he plays in the midfield, he could go really nuclear. But even as a defender, he looks the goods. So that's one player. The second one that I was going to say, Now, one of the all-time sort of defender goats, if we think about Supercoach royalty, Tom Stewart. The run is there in terms of 3 of the last 6 at GMHBA. St Kilda, North, Essendon, and Richmond in that run. Has scores of 103, 111, 109, 118, 72 against Richmond, 132 against GWS on the weekend. 513k. Like, he's not a straight swap from Martin, but he's only, 40k difference? That could be a real play there. I know Rossco's a very happy owner at the moment.
Can I throw one at you? I want to throw one at you, Janath.
One more rogue one.
Watch
And
this down.
You're gonna enjoy
take the
this.
words out of your mouth, I bet.
You're gonna enjoy this. Well,
You'll steal me lunch.
It's an all-you-can-eat buffet down in the Essendon backline now.
All right, no, never mind.
Archie Roberts and Jordan Ridley.
I didn't see those. That is rogue, Janath. You are going.
Sorry, I can't.
Off the old dusty, dirty trail.
Archie Roberts has had 31 touches on the weekend, 7 marks. I don't know whether he goes back to take Nick Martin's role, but
it looks like he will.
It looks like he will, and that's a very good role to have at the same price. So these guys are both less expensive than Nick Martin. Jordan Ridley, scores of 83 and 96 since he's come back into the side. We know what he can do when he's healthy. The question is when he's healthy, because he just hasn't been able to string games together. So, boys, those are 4 names. A couple more Broadway, a couple more that are just a bit rogue in that sense. Spillsy, who do you want to throw at me?
Look, normally I'd go in a bat for Ridley. I mean, he's my favourite player. I love him, but you just can't. You can't do it. Not in Supercoach. Don't do it to yourself. I mean,
I just traded out Chalky, so take the emotion out of it, Spills.
Yeah, I think it could.
I trade out TDK. How about that?
Yeah, geez, there we
go. Oh no, I don't mind it. And it looks like Roberts is going to have that role. How much are Essendon getting pumped by without Archie Roberts and Zach Merritt in the side? I mean, it was literally a VFL side with 2 good standouts. It was the most noticeable thing ever. It was unbelievable. So I do like Archie Roberts, but the rogue pick that I was thinking of, Janath, was James Sicily at, I think, 390k. Now, hitting form.
Dog.
He's hitting form, and someone's come back into the side for Hawthorn. I can't remember who it was. It's sort of pushed him.
Went out. Weddle's gone out.
Gone out. Is there a forward or something that's come back in that might have pushed him?
Yes, Cal Shadir has come back in, and Mitch Lewis will likely come back in this week.
That helps Sicily, and form's been pretty good last couple of weeks. I really wanted him, but I'm looking a bit dire with a cash gen, so I was thinking maybe a Johnson and Madden to a rookie in Sicily. We're still short, boys. That's the season, but I was eyeing him off, and he turned up on the weekend. So I don't know if you're looking real value, like rogue, 390k for Sicily in current form. That's not a bad price to pay. What do you boys reckon on him?
Don't mind it.
It is rogue.
Don't mind
it. So rogue.
It's rogue. I can't go there. You can't go there. You can't go there.
I respect it.
Yeah,
it's one of those moves that could win you a league, like a cash league or something, because you get him for cheap and then he just keeps appreciating. Boys, there's one player we haven't mentioned. I feel like he's at the top of the list in terms of within 20k of Martin. Colby the Butcher McKercher.
Oh, here we go. He's getting the pill. He's getting his hands on the pill, isn't he? He's
getting so much pill back there. He's a pretty disgusting pig. I reckon I can see him as a fantasy pig for many years to come in terms of the way that he gets it and he just disposes of it.
Hang on, I wonder. I got in trouble for calling him Butcher. You called him a disgusting pig just there. Jeez, mate.
Oh no, Janath, you're going to cop some abuse.
Come on, look at it.
Come at me.
Go after him
now. Yeah, look out, mate. Jeez.
I'll try. I'll go back to you, Janath. You're right, man.
I'll tweet it out. He's a disgusting pig. Absolute. What a player. He's going to be such a good player for us in the upcoming years.
It's tricky. Is it the wrong week for McKercher? Is he getting tagged by Campbell? Is Campbell being tagging? You reckon?
James Jordan went to Nazai on the weekend. Campbell started on the bench, but Campbell did go to
who's
Jordan
tagging
Clark a
there.
couple of weeks ago. So when they've got 2 tag targets, which may happen, Sheasel and McKercher, but you would think that Jordan goes to Sheasel probably if LDU isn't back, and then, whether or not McKercher gets any attention remains to be seen.
Oh, I reckon McKercher's probably a little bit more damaging considering Sheasel's playing like up the ground a bit more.
Yeah.
And Sydney are not mucking around. Like I think they're one of the very
They're
few
not.
sides out of the 8 that can make it, and they're not going to want to lose to North. So I think they tag. That's gut feel.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Fair
All right.
enough.
Boys, anything else you want to discuss before we get to our trades for the week?
One thing, very quickly, midfield. So if you're looking if you've got a little bit of DPP and you can get a Toukie. We can't forget our Touk. Which, speaking of, if you went Touk last week, it's just been the epitome of the last couple of years for Touk. Is as soon as he gets the season off, like he's looking so good, and you're like, what's wrong with this pick? Does a hammy, and so boys, Touk Miller is at a decent price, and that's the thing with a player like him. At 544k, because he played well the last couple of weeks, you're not at the worst price. He's basically a straight swap for Ed Richards. And I think if you can pull that in one move, he's 6k difference. Yeah. Like Ed Richards had that poor score against Sydney, 139 on the weekend, 96 break even this week. I think that's such an easy move. Even George Hewitt, your boy DR, he's at 557, so there's 13k difference. And he's gone
Very
below
solid.
the ton twice this year, or 3 times this year. 131 on the weekend again. Even in Carlton blowout losses, he'll do the job. So those two are really good buying, I reckon, mate.
Yeah, I'm just looking around the price. There's so many players here that I'm looking at down the list that I feel have potential, but you lack that confidence with. You know, picks like your Josh Dunkley, it's like 1 week we're thinking, is he potential trade in? The next week we're thinking, damn, we want him out of our side. He's playing forward all of a sudden. There's just so many question marks with blokes around the price, whereas I think in previous seasons, I'd be more than happy to jump on to them without thinking too much. But I don't mind those shouts there. Yeah, you've got some pods with players like your Callahans you could have a look at if you really want to go outside the box. But if you ask me for one player around the price, I really, really like Ed Richards. You know how keen on Ed I was during the preseason, and after what we've seen him produce already this year, along with Bonds and Libber, I think he could have a really nice end to the year. So Ed Richards, I think, is a really solid pick, and it almost fits the bill, you know, a pod for a pod in a way. He's not a really highly owned type player, and I guess that there's not, obviously not too many teams, I dare say, would have Touk and Richards in the same side already.
Yeah.
Spillsy? Anything, any pods or any big boys you'd recommend to jump on if you could, mate?
Yeah, I'm with you with Red Ed. I reckon he is probably the MVP this year. He's having just one of the great seasons. I mean, he's so good. Good price, like coming into some good form. So I reckon he's the main man. If you don't have Butters and you sort of, well, you're like me and you can't afford him and you just battling every single week. Trying to antipod that, it's hard. If you can get to Butters, he's the real. I'd have Butters 1 and then Ed Richards 2 as a nice pod. But boys, I'm gonna cop one here. I'm gonna take one for the team and swallow me pride on the occasion. I'm gonna give a cheeky shout out to a man that I and DR traded out a couple of weeks ago. Lockie Neal, 516k. Of course he hits form. Of course he hits form now. Like, why not? Pop a 110 and what was it, 120 the week before? Like, where was this form in my side, mate? What's going on there? This could be Spillsy's rant, but I think he's a great option this week. Would I like him in my side now? Absolutely, but he's not there. So
where is he?
Yeah.
I can't even
516k.
Oh, it's not that good. Like,
but
he's got. I thought you're gonna hype him up big time. He's not been that good. He's got 110, 126, 72 since he traded me out there. Yeah, it's not big. He hasn't shot the lights yet. Same with you, Spillsy.
Still, for 516k though, and
valid.
we've seen two banger scores just out of nowhere. Right. I don't know what Brisbane's run looks like off by heart, but if that's value, I mean, I don't care what anyone says with Lockie Neal. Even myself, my comments have been pretty critical, but 5.16 for Lockie Neal is value, hitting form as well. So it hurts me to say it. Got to swallow the pride on the occasion. He's fine, but boys, our trades. Wow, what do we do? DR, you
Well,
go, mate. Kick us off.
Well, I've got a couple of options here. Now, you did mention James Sicily before. Now, this is, you look down the bottom here. I'm desperate. I'm just trying to find ways to get to Brodie Grundy. So the sensible thing to do would be to go Xerri straight to Romo, one trade, leave 2 in the bank, and call it a day. But if I do want to get a little bit wacky, Spills, pretty much the only way that I can get there at this stage is to trade out someone that has a little bit of value somewhere. I've got no forwards with value. I'm not willing to let go of my midfielders that still hold a fair bit of value. So it comes down to this man, Dane Zorko. Do I trade out Dane Zorko to a Flanders or a Sicily type in order to get Xerri up to Brodie Grundy? So the combo would be Romo and Zorko plus the extra trade, or Grundy and Sicily with 1 remaining. Being able to hopefully enjoy some of those big ceiling captaincy scores. I'm just not sure. If I felt like there was a slightly better option than Sicily, I'd almost lock it and stamp it in. And boys, I don't know if I had this in my video, but I'll send it through to you two. I had $0 in the bank making a move if I'd have gone Baz to horne-francis and then Xerri up to Grundy. $0. I thought that was meant to be. But, it was a bit of a scary move with Baz's upcoming run. But, I don't know if I'm willing to go through with this. To either get in Flanders or Sicily, be one of those 2 players in order to get in Grundy, or just
may I ask why Flanders? I mean, what for?
Well,
I know that we don't have Touk, but is there a bit of speculation behind it? Like we just pumped out a 70, a 74 average.
Well,
I mean,
you look at the names around the mark, Spills, and he's just a name that stands out, I think, just through history from last year, through potential, through talent, and just the slight chance that there's a small opening that he steps into that midfield while Touk's out. So that was the thinking behind it, or the method behind the madness of Flanders there. It's either him or Sicily that I'd have to make the move with, mate. So I hate doing it, but Brodie Grundy, I've just got where the eyes pop out of the, in the cartoons, the animations, where they just pop out of your head at Brodie Grundy. Just got stars in my eyes for Brodie Grundy. I just don't know how sensible I should be with this at the moment. But
I don't think you need to be sensible at all. I mean, it is a rank where you'd be happy with it, but also it's not. I mean, if you're fighting for top 500, I wouldn't do it. But if you're sitting like where you are at the moment, why not take a bit of a punt?
Just send it. Spill, do you reckon?
Janath, I'm not too sure about Sam Flanders. I know nothing about it, but back him in. Have a crack. See how he goes. A pod, cheer him on every week. Hope he does really well. You got Grundy. I don't know. I can't really endorse the pick, but I think it could be pretty fun, like if it works out.
What are you telling me, Janath? You telling me to skydive or bungee jump like Spills, or go on the carousel, mate? Just
can I conclude it by saying, just based off rank, if I was in Janath's spot, I'd do the first one. If I was in yours or my spot, I would do the second one. That's the way I would summarize it.
Look, DR, I love you, mate, but I cannot. I can't. I don't want you to go through with these trades,
noise. Don't listen to the outside noise, DR. Back your gut. Do what you want to do, mate.
Look, back your gut. Do what you want to do. You're trading out a perfectly healthy Dane Zorko, in addition to the standard trade you have to do as well. I guess that's the part. If that Zorko was Touk, by all means, go for it. Like, I think that's where, like, when trades are so limited, mate, like, I can't justify trading out a healthy player. That's not even performing badly. He's playing perfect. He's averaging 170, scored 107. Marshall in for Xerri I think is a much more sensible move, mate.
All right, well, I've got the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. Who do I listen to for the week? We'll see, boys. But Spillsy, has this changed since we've had this ruck discussion? I'm assuming Big Rolly may still be coming in, but how about Lloyd? Or have you going off the big man a little bit?
Well, the problem I have with this one is if I want English over Meek, I can't have Phil Thorpe because I've only got 6K, which is not ideal.
Ooh,
So
okay.
what I've put it down to is maybe you two could help me because this is a big move. Guess how many trades I've got once this is done, boys? How many trades do you reckon we got?
0.
You got duck
0.
eggs, don't you?
That's it. That is it. So I've sort of conceded. I'm not going to be able to do another upgrade with Madden and Johnson. I think McCarthy's good flex. So I've just copped that on the chin. It's fine. I won't be the only side. So yeah, 2 long-term injuries, or not injuries. So we've got a suspension and probably a season injury from the horny man himself. So what it will be is Meek and Thilthorpe versus English and Cameron. So that's what I'm putting it down to, Janath. I'm just not sure. I'd probably have Thilthorpe and English, but I can't afford.
Yeah.
So what do you
Question
reckon?
for you though, Spillsy.
Yeah,
What are you
man.
playing for? Because I think there is a world where Holden Cherry, if you're going to play for leagues, for instance, it's not the worst. It's not the worst outcome. He's going to have a good run when he comes back in. He's going to be fresh. Like, are there cash leagues that you're playing for?
That's a really good point. So overall, it's bad. It's 12K. We don't have
That's
a fully
fine.
and I'm happy to
And you'll still have 22. You'll have 22.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I won't have 23, and I'm happy to accept that. Like I'm not flat about it. That's just how the season's taken its course. So there's a couple of leagues that I would play for bragging rights, particularly the footy club league that I'm in.
Yeah.
I've got multiple divisions as well. I think the Spillsy Premier League is in the top 100, and I don't know how, but I'm still in the 8, so maybe you could play for leagues and keep a cherry.
Yeah.
I haven't really
Just
thought
keep a
about
cherry.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really given it much thought. I just want to do well every week, and trades are slim pickings and Carnage just keeps hitting. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. But hypothetically, man, if I was to hold Cherry and I've only got 6K, like what am I doing? Would you just go horne-francis to Cameron?
I'd go horne-francis, hold him this week as well. I know it sucks, and you might cop a donut, but Matt Kennedy next week is going to be such a good buy. Honestly.
What? So you would wait?
I'd
hold
wait,
horne-francis?
I'd hold horne-francis.
Yeah,
and then, so you may not make a trade this week, and it may suck because your ranking might take a hit this week. But if you're going to play for leagues, Spillsy, there's no world where, and this goes for anyone playing for leagues, if you're not going for rank, I think the best move here is to actually hold Cherry. The freshness
That's a good point.
back.
Rank's out of the window.
Back, and you're going to have him for the Supercoach finals. Like, I think it's not a bad shout at all. Yeah, as a pod, he'll be healthy, and his final 3 games are going to be against. Give me a second. His final 3 games are going to be against GWS, Richmond, Adelaide. So GWS and Richmond, he should towel up. Adelaide's a tougher matchup, but he did score 116 on them early this year as well. Oh, sorry, not 116. I'm looking at the wrong play, but he can score well even in tough matchups. Is what I'm getting at.
Yep. That's probably a pretty valid point. So you're saying that I won't be able to get horne-francis to Kennedy this week, but next week,
next week you
will. I will.
Yeah,
because I've only got
ahead of a matchup against you guys. I reckon. I think that's who you play. I think that's who they play. Yes, you guys.
I kind of hate to cop it because I'm someone that's always played for overall, but I feel like that's the go. I mean, you've got to play for something. I just don't have the depth, and that's fine. I mean, that's how the season played out. But yeah, if we want to play for anything, at least I could front up every week and have something to look forward to and get myself right for Supercoach leagues. If we can avoid enough carnage to actually make it, but yeah, it's a good call, man. Maybe not trading, and I don't know. We'll see. But yeah.
And then in terms of my trades, sort of Gorn to Cherry just makes the most sense. Like,
I'll go wrong,
over, as you said, D, I'm not going to overcomplicate it at all.
Yeah.
Very quickly, how interesting is it that Cherry out averages Grundy by 0.1, but the price difference is 158k. Like, that's just Supercoach summed up, isn't it?
Nuts, isn't it?
Or
Nuts.
164k, 164k, yeah.
It could be the other way around, couldn't it? Just to make
Yeah.
life easy for us. But no, of course it's the opposite, mate. Of course it's the
Yeah.
opposite.
But that's just the way Supercoach works and the game we love.
Exactly right, brother. Exactly
And Rossco's doesn't have any issues to work with. He's just loitering along. No Cherry, no Miller, no Martin, no Rozee, not even an Adam Chera to even like have a fleeting worry about. No Jason Horne-Francis. Life
gonna
is beautiful
Bradbury it.
over there.
He's going to
He's gonna
Bradbury it.
Bradbury it.
Yeah, he's going to
Yeah.
absolutely fly home, this man, avoiding all the carnage, just lingering in the background there, ready to pounce on a higher rank is Rossco.
That's it.
Boys, that is mainly it for this week. Now, Janath, we don't have the Captain's Corner data here ready and available at the moment, but it certainly will be in the upcoming days on the third man up. Did you want to touch on anything now, or potentially leave that to the X feed, mate? What are your thoughts?
I've got some players that I'll throw out there. So
All right.
in terms of the matchups, GWS against Essendon, banged up Essendon. Honestly, kudos to you guys for going to be putting out a competitive team out there. I think that's going to be the big part here in the most sort of non-backslapping sort of way. Tom Green, Finn Callaghan, Lockie Whitfield, Lockie Ash, lock and load them as VCs. I reckon like there's probably not going to be much threat to them scoring well this week. Dogs and Lions is going to be a really good matchup, and to actually see who sort of gets the upper hand is going to be quite interesting. Doggies have not played well against top 8 opposition at all, and so for that reason, I'm sort of worried about VCing any of their players. But we know that Brisbane is also vulnerable. We saw Collingwood go up there. And bet you boys DR early this year. So could the Doggies do the same? We'll wait and see. The Hawks-Port matchup is going to be a grudge game. Not too much relevance there. I guess the only player that we may actually have any sort of consideration doing anything with is going to be Sack Butters with no Rozee, no horne-francis. It'll actually be quite interesting to see who plays in the midfield. Is Miles Bergman now an option to take the role of Jason Horne-Francis? One to keep an eye on. Sydney against North Melbourne. Great matchup for Brodie Grundy. He's probably going to go up against Brent Teakle. If you have Grundy, whether you trade him in or you already have him, the safest VCC you're going to have probably for the rest of the season.
Yep.
So yeah, it's almost a blessing in disguise for the Grundy owners. Really, that Cherry's out because you don't have to trade him in, and you get a free VC basically. So enjoy that whilst it lasts. And then Carlton, Melbourne, another just an interesting game. Max Gawn against Pidden hasn't really gone too well in the past. And then on the Blues end, George Hewitt is a decent VC shout. I can see that one going quite well. And then Christian Petrarca just hasn't lived up to it this year. Like, I've had him all season, and he's averaging 97. Like, that's not the Petrarca we've really come to expect.
Yeah, underwhelming.
Tom McCarthy, VC boys against Richmond.
Well, Spillsy's done a Riley Boss before, so why not?
Why not? He could, and I mean this, that he could actually play quite well this week. Like, he went into the midfield as well in the last quarter there against Port Adelaide, and his lowest score this season has been 82. Like, he's been a really good player. Now, Geelong against St Kilda at GMHBA. I think this is when we back in Maxi Holmes against to deliver. Bailey Smith's been a weird one. He's like, as we said, he's just been butchering it. I think at one point he was on 33 fantasy to 3 Supercoach or something ridiculous like that in the Giants game. Like, once you're in that position, you can't come back from that. Like, with the negative scaling and everything. Collingwood against Fremantle. So do we see Nick Dacos get possible attention from Corey Wagner? Let's hope and see. I'm going to touch very quickly. Yeah. Like, we've seen that happen with
last one, didn't it?
Yeah. I think it did. Yeah, you're right. And then Dacos went forward. Exactly, mate. And then from the Freo side, things is a Brayshaw, Sarong. But the match of the round, the last game of the round, Adelaide against Gold Coast. You've got the Adelaide big guns there in Dawson, in Rankin. You've got the Gold Coast big guns in Anderson, Rowell. We saw Dawson and Bont go head-to-head. what's to say that Dawson and Anderson / Real go head-to-head in this game as well. So lock and load them in. I think right now, looking at it, I think I'm going to go Tom Green into Jordan Dawson. Boys, what are we thinking? Or Max Holmes. Max Holmes, the other one that's in consideration. Those three.
Spillsy, who's top of your hit list, mate?
I don't mind Whitfield against the Bombers.
Yeah.
Just get that one out of the way really early.
Tom
I'm not
McCarthy.
really sure. Hey,
Tom McCarthy.
mate, it's not out of the realms of possibility.
It's not out of the realms.
It wouldn't be the first. Probably won't be the last time I can VC a rookie. Could be like I don't know. Could be a good shout. I just haven't really. I'd have to really assess it. It's a bit hard when you don't have like a Max Holmes and Butters type. It's just a bit hard when you. Yeah. There's not much on the table for me. I'm sure I'll land one eventually, but last week was a bit of a shambles. Can't get worse than a 53 from Rozee, so I'll be happy with whatever. We'll see. We're playing for leagues anyway. We may as well at this point. I said it a couple of years ago and then had the run of my life. But I think this time around, I genuinely mean that, we probably are realistically playing for leagues. So it doesn't matter too much. So I may as well take a stab in the dark and do a bit of high risk, high reward. So maybe one of the key forward types. I don't know. Just don't know yet. We'll see, boys. We'll work it out. But
give it a crack, Spilsy. Give it a crack. Look, if I end up listening to the devil on my shoulder, aka Spillsy, and go through with this send it trade, then it's Brody Grundy. It's the most obvious selection you could even make. Don't even need to say. But assuming that I listen to that little angel on my shoulder telling me to be sensible about things, then the VC's either going to be Lockie Whitfield or, after what he did for me last week, maybe just slap it on Bont again and see how he goes against my boys.
Safe bet.
And I think the easy backup for me is Jordan Dawson. The last game against the Gold Coast Suns. They're a really nice midfield to come up against for Supercoach scoring. And
unless you're Nick Dacos.
Unless you're Nick Dacos, of course. But as we all had him with our VC. But I feel pretty comfortable with him as a backup option anyway. So, either Whitfield or Bont into the big boy Dawson in one of the last games for me. But if I did have Max Holmes, I would be super interested. Does Windy go to Holmes or does he go to Baz? That would be my only.
He hasn't gone to anyone. He's not tagging anymore. He's playing as his own inside midfield now. 36 touches on the weekend.
That's so much attention. I've been playing the Saints football. So,
sorry,
Jono. Sorry, Scoopsy. Sorry, Rossco. A little bit of a drive-by for the Saints. An unwarranted drive-by.
What about Naz? You don't turn on Saints games to watch Naz?
No, I love him. I love Naz. But he's going to be playing for Port Adelaide next year anyway, mate. So.
At least I'll get TDK, so it's not all bad over there.
They are getting TDK, so 1.7. Good spending.
Good.
No, I'm not going to. I'll stop now. It didn't end up. I didn't want to end this with a Saints drive-by. All my lovely mates are going to be very unhappy with me with the way they've ended this potty. So, boys, I think that is it. We've gone for an hour and 40. We said there's no way this is going to go past an hour and 15, but we've managed to find a way yet again. But the big discussion was obviously the replacement options for all of our injured and suspended players. I'm not dealing with too much carnage. Spillsy and Janath are dealing with a little bit more than me, but hopefully you're not dealing with too much. I did hear someone, boys, sent me a DM, I think it was. It was like Rozee, it was the whole works, to Martin, to Xerri. So, if you've managed to avoid all the carnage like Rossco, kudos, congratulations. If you're on the opposite end of the scale, just do your best. Remember that it is just a game. Enjoy yourself and maybe focus on your leagues like Spillsy's going to do. So, boys, anything else that you're going to leave us with before we end the potty? Janath?
Yeah, just want to say that in weeks like this when it feels like everyone's getting injured, there can be a lot of fake news going around on Twitter in particular. So if you're in any chats sort of thing, take everything with a grain of salt. Like, there's going to be plenty of time when Thursday teams come around. You'll see who's in and who's out. Don't sort of worry too much about sort of Nick Dacos or Callum Mills and like fake injuries. Like, anyone can put a rumor out there. unless it's from a credible source, you're talking about your Drew Jones, your Mitch Cleary, those types. Just don't pay attention to it. Really, let it go. I just want to finish off with a meme. This is the tweet of the week. We've got a retrospective team of the week. An Aussie in the NBA Summer League called Johnny Furphy posterized poor bloke over here, and I think this sums it up for all of us in terms of how Supercoach is going. So there you go. Round 18, dunking all Supercoaches. Got Cherry, Horne-Francis, Martin, Miller, and Rozee. And it was almost Adam Cherry at one point as well, but luckily he's got off with the phone.
As he should have as well. It would have been no way you could suspend him for that. I'm all up for caring for the umpires, looking after the umpires, but come on, he would have been super unlucky to be rubbed out for that. But boys, another fantastic week. Rossco hopefully be back with us next week. All I'm hoping is that on the next podcast we can sit down and not have to talk about Carnage.
Yeah,
that's the hope. What will it happen? Who knows? But I think that for a lot of us, it's going to be a matter of how kindly the Supercoach gods treat us from here until the remainder of the season. If you are someone that's going down to 0 trades, don't look at it as a negative. Just think about it as like, I can just relax, put my hands behind my head now, sit back and start to enjoy some games of football. And more importantly, make sure that you do check in during the week on X for all of the captaincy data, because that's going to play a crucial part in whether or not you have a good round, a great round, or your round should absolutely get in the bin. So thanks for watching again, guys. All the best of luck for this week, and we'll see you soon in the next one. Catch you, boys.
See ya.